long story short, I went into my head into the toilet. Someone had just been in there, and I recoiled and ran away.
Oh god.
Welcome to the latest episode of Over a Pint. We're taking a different approach. We're going outside the real estate industry because we need ideas from outside the real estate industry because it's more interesting that way. So this week, I'm excited to have Ryan Abush. We're going with Abush. Abush seems to make more sense. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people watching?
I'm Ryan. I am the co-owner of two gyms in the York Region area, so CrossFit Newmarket Central and CrossFit Aurora Central. And I've been training Andrew for a couple years now, so this is where we're at. So.
See the results.
Oh yeah.
So this week we're going outside the box. Mill Street Organic. It's actually one of my favorite beers. We've never actually had it on the show. Oh, no, we've had it on one episode, but in a bottle, not a can. So it doesn't actually fit the entire can. So just be cognizant when you're pouring.
Don't overpour.
Yeah. But I'm famous for terrible pours on this show.
I might beat you on that.
This time is actually a good pour for me. Normally I do quite terrible pours and then justify it by saying it's the proper way.
They're both terrible, so
cheers.
It works.
So, how long ago did you open? You had one gym at the beginning.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you open it?
We opened CrossFit Newmarket Central in 2010. So my partner Michelle Follis. And we had both been in the personal training space years before that and kind of pooled our resources and kind of went in not really having a damn clue what we were doing and opened the doors, and we had our clientele that we started with and just slowly grew and very quickly outgrew that space to a point where we needed to grow into a way bigger space. We went from 2,000 square feet into 9,100, and that was in 2013, so 2010, 2013. And then in 2015, we opened up our second location, so CrossFit Aurora Central, and been going strong since. So now we're 2019, and who knows what happens next, so.
Yeah, you're gonna go to 20,000 square feet.
Yeah, exactly.
So, the beginning when it was like before opening it, what made you go, one, I wanna switch from being a trainer to owning, and then why partner and not do it yourself?
So why switch? Didn't really like what I was doing in the sense of just working hours because I worked my ass off. I was in university full time and I actually worked 40-hour plus weeks and it was just too much. And I realized that that's just my personality. I'll just work myself to the bone because why not? I can make more money. So I just kept doing it over and over and kind of got to the point where I was like, I need to figure out how to make this work long term. The gym that I was at, I was actually just at one point before I left, I was literally the only personal trainer there. The gym was kind of on the outs. They ended up selling shortly after I left to another gym and then absorbed into one. Why I went with Michelle, I've actually known her since I was actually like 5 or 6 years old. So our parents bowled together, so our families knew each other, and she was a personal trainer at Fit City, which is where we were both at. She had left. She quasi introduced me to CrossFit. I had another person introduce it to me. I kind of fell in love with it, kind of was like, this is the best training method out there, period. There's nothing that compares to what happens to your body and how it makes you feel. I was like the typical bodybuilder type workout, like chest Monday, legs Tuesday, that kind of thing, and it kind of gets boring after a while, where CrossFit I find doesn't get boring. And she had left. She managed the gym in the Bradford area, hated it from day one, and then kind of approached me and said, hey, I know you want to do CrossFit. I know what you're doing. You work your ass off. Let's partner and do this together. At the time, I was still in university, and we just kind of went full tilt into it. We actually obtained a loan through a company that doesn't really exist anymore that I'm aware of, but it's more for like young entrepreneurs, and that is kind of how we got our start and pooled our resources, and off we went. But with the first location, it definitely was one of those things where we knew what we wanted, and the two of us had our strengths and had our weaknesses, and the two of us together meshed now going on this will be year 9 and still going strong. So that's why we partnered together as opposed to doing it ourselves, because there's things that neither of us like to do, and luckily we're like that yin and yang kind of thing where she'll do the things I don't like and vice versa. So without her, I don't know where I'd be, and vice versa, I don't know what she'd be doing. But people always say like it's a blessing that we've been able to kind of be partners this long and still be partners. And
it's something crazy. Like 80% of partnerships are done in 2 years.
Yeah. So
that's where I was always like curious of like, because you have been going for a while and pretty successful with it. So it's a rare thing when people always think we're married. That's like the first thing. Well, isn't she dating a guy named Ryan?
Exactly. So that confused
the hell out of me.
Yes.
Because like I think I met you first. I don't know.
Sounds about right. I did your intro. So
I met you first, but then my first few sessions were with her. So like I did the intro session with you, and then she kept referring to her boyfriend Ryan.
So you're like, oh, me.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely him. And then you referenced your girlfriend, and it was a different name, and I was like, are you confessing something to me, or am I missing? And then I think you were the one who told me. You ended up telling me. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But I get that. Like, I used to have a partner like in training, and people always thought that too.
Everyone, your wife. I'm like, who's my wife? Like, oh, the blonde girl. I'm like, whoa, no, business partner.
Nothing.
She's my work wife. So that's what we call each other. Yeah. So my fiance is cool with that. Her boyfriend Ryan's cool
just
with
hates
that.
her.
They get along, so it's good.
That works. That's a big help.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So how long into it were you able to, like, you guys both pulled like a living wage out of it?
Living wage? Well,
depends on how you define it.
Both of us lived at home for the first couple of years of the business, which definitely helped us. Like we didn't pay ourselves much. Like we paid ourselves the bare minimum, and sometimes didn't even take a paycheck because there just wasn't money to make a paycheck. It didn't exist. Our goal from really day one was anything that we made, put it back in the business, like nonstop, and it kind of works that way to this day, even 9 years in almost. We started out very small building, very small amount of equipment, and as we were able to make profit, it just literally just more equipment. You just have to obtain the stuff to spend money to make money, right? So it got to the point where I think we did the lowest tax bracket. We talked to our accountant for the first couple of years. We were just like, no, we're not going over that. We were able to actually get kind of a mentorship through the company that lent us the money. So it was CYBF, I think it was called, so Canadian Youth Business Federation. So that you have to get a mentor. Like you don't have a choice. Like it's like
I got a loan that way. Or it wasn't a loan, it was like a grant. So
ours was like
didn't pay it back.
Ours was through CYBF, partnered with someone else, whatever, long story, but they gave us $45,000 and you meet with your mentor. We actually met with some other mentors, and we were going to do something completely different on how we got paid, because we were in the mentality of you work an hour with a client, you get paid X amount, and that was how we were always doing things because of our previous work. And then we met with these two guys and like, nope, don't do that. You do that, you're going to fail instantly. And we were like, why? And then they started explaining it. And we didn't even, again, we went in not knowing a damn thing about business, which is funny because we're sitting here and now we're successful, but you learn as you go. What about when someone's cleaning the floor? What about when someone's answering the phone? How do you reimburse that? So we decided from day one, didn't matter what we were doing, we were working on the business. Her and I have been 50-50 since day one. That'll never change. It's just half and half. There's no reason to ever deviate from that, and it's good because we trust each other in that sense, where I know other partnerships that I've helped people out, and one partner will be like 70% and one's 30%, and there's no reason for that. It's just how they somehow structured it from day one, and obviously that will not work in the long term. It's just one of the 30 guys going to get pissed off, or girls going to get pissed off. So that's just kind of how my brain went on a little tangent there, and I don't even remember what the original question was, but yes.
It's true, then I forget it too. We'll replay the tape, but that really doesn't help us now.
It's all good.
So I'm not actually going to replay the tape. I just said that. So you started it was around the partnership. Wait, no, it wasn't. I don't even remember. I'll cut this part out.
How much did living wage? There we go.
There we go. We're good.
It's in there.
Ryan got it.
So we started out paying ourselves peanuts. And we had to do that. And that's what I think is important. People get kind of like, oh, I'm new to business. Oh, I have $30,000 in the bank. I'm going to go spend that. Oh, shit. I have $31,000 worth of bills due tomorrow, right? Like they don't realize that that is such an important thing, that you have to have that kind of little buffer, because you never know what you're going to have to spend money on. And that was a big thing for us, is you're getting hit with bills left, right, and center for things that you don't even realize that you're having to pay for, or something breaks or whatever. Like we had to install washrooms at our second location. It cost us over $40,000.
Yeah.
Well, that money's got to come from somewhere, and it was just to meet code. We didn't need washrooms, but you got to spend 40 G's just to put a couple toilets in. It's not cheap. So we've had those surprises over the years, and like retrofitting the second iteration of Newmarket when we moved, that we had a good chunk of money in the account. 100% of it was gone when we opened the doors, because we literally had to buy all the equipment, upgrade the facilities, whatever. So
well, even that, like, so you've never been there. It's like a massive freaking fan.
we have two $10,000 fans.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say those things couldn't be cheap.
No, we have they're called big ass fans, and they're, I believe, 18 feet wide, and they literally look like helicopter blades.
Yeah,
and
it looks cool.
Looks very cool, and cheaper than air conditioning, and that's the key. But yeah, we have one at each location, and you're forking out 20 G's for a fan that's really not doing a whole lot other than a little breeze in the gym is.
Yeah, you guys can sweat.
Yeah, you're in the gym. It's like charge extra, because like hot yoga does it, but hot CrossFit people won't do it.
It's true, that'd be miserable.
Yeah. So, but yeah, ups and downs. The original question. Now we're able to actually pay ourselves a living wage, and we have both like own houses and that kind of stuff. And one of the things for us is we want to be able to pay our staff living wages. We don't want to have staff that are like constantly turning over, where that's kind of like, if you go to a big box gym, I won't name the names, everyone knows what I'm talking about, but you go get it. I don't really care. That doesn't really affect me. We're on camera. I don't want to bash other gyms, but the turnover rate for a trainer is ridiculous, and they have no accreditation. They're just, I went and got a 2-day course, and I'm a trainer.
So.
Yeah, or I'm not in shape. It doesn't really matter. Yeah,
I've been to the gym. I can train someone.
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah,
but
it's easy. It's like selling houses. You just see someone do it. I could do that.
No, it's so easy.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. We want to make sure that we have staff that we can retain for a long time, and they can grow their lives with the help of us, and that's what we've been able to do. We have a lot of full-time staff, which a lot of CrossFits or a lot of gyms do not have. That is very unheard of. So it's one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on, that we've been able to build that up over the years. So
how much do you invest in like the development of your staff, like training them? Like how much of your time and money go into that?
We implemented monthly staff meetings. That was one thing that we really slacked on in the first couple of years of having coaches. Because of our schedules, it's really a nightmare to run, to be honest. And we just kind of buckled down and said, you know what, we're gonna make sure that every month we meet as a group, and we're gonna go over everything that's going on in the gym. We do a minimum of an hour. We do a T&D for the first half an hour, so we're gonna go over a specific movement and how we want it to be, in a sense, taught, discuss it with all the staff, and really go over the little idiosyncrasies of what can make it better, what problems can arise. So we obviously pay them for all their time with that, and we want to make sure that we can grow them as trainers, because a lot of them have solid backgrounds. Like a lot of our coaches have the schooling that they've done, like the kinesiology degrees and all that kind of stuff, and it definitely is an evolving industry where you have to kind of stay up with not the new trends, because there's stupid things out there. I'm a Bosu ball specialist. That's not what we do.
You didn't have Bosu balls.
We have one, but that's for rehab stuff. It's in the corner, dusty.
I've never seen it.
But it is one of those things that we're trying to evolve with them, and we actually have in-house physiotherapists that work with them as well, because that's a big thing. Like a lot of people associate CrossFit with injuries, but really it's one of those things that you have someone sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, all of a sudden they come in and they're lifting weights over their head and they push themselves too hard, then they could be open to injury. So we want to make sure that we're keeping them healthy and they can keep training. So the physios work hand in hand with our coaches, which then work in hand in hand with our members, and it's like a team aspect where the ideas that the physio can bring in to teach the staff to make them better is what in turn makes our clients better and keeps them coming for the long term.
I found it interesting, like my first trainer, this was back like 7 or 8 years ago, almost took pride that he made me throw up. Or almost threw up. I didn't actually throw up. I was like
got you
right
close.
there. Yeah. No, it was actually, long story short, I went into my head into the toilet. Someone had just been in there, and I recoiled and ran away.
Oh god.
Didn't end up throwing up though, so win. Actually,
go.
we just talked about that on the last episode. I don't know how that comes up in back-to-back episodes, but what was interesting what I found with you is the time that you almost made me throw up, you immediately dialed back everything you did. 'Cause you're
I remember that.
That was wrong.
Yeah.
We shouldn't get there.
Yeah, I think you had taken some time off, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna go hard.
Kids get in the way of marketing.
Yeah,
working out.
definitely. Yeah, it was one of those, you had been off for a while, you just had your kid, I think, and it was like, okay, we're gonna go right back into
Yeah,
this.
you put me on the attack bike.
Yeah, assault bike.
Assault bike,
But
whatever.
it attacked you, yes.
Yeah, I kicked my ass that day.
And we were doing sprints,
Yeah.
but very short sprints. And I was
Short
like, okay,
sprints,
because they're short, you should be
yeah.
okay, because I'm giving you long rest breaks.
Yeah, I went for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say you didn't listen to my advice. You went a little too hard, and then your body just said nope.
It really did.
Yeah.
I didn't throw up though.
No.
So
I have made people throw up, and to me, like, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't think it's a good thing. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think they need that. Usually, that's gonna scare them away as a customer. They're like, "Well, this is too hard. I can't do it." Right? So it's a lose-lose for me as a business owner. It's not like a pride thing. Oh, I worked them so hard. Well, who gives a shit if they're not coming back, right? Definitely, I've heard that from other people in the industry. Like, that is a pride marker for them. I just think it's stupid, but.
Yeah. How much do you like track the numbers in the sense of like how long the average customer stays with you guys?
So we use it's called leg in like our industry, I guess, so length of engagement. That's been something that's very, very tricky for us to track, if I'm very blunt about it. And we've tried to track it. We've used metrics through our software, but the software unfortunately is not built properly. So we track other metrics on a monthly basis. So our biggest thing is retention for recurring memberships. So I'm lucky that I train a lot of people in a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
So I'm able to bounce ideas off of all these different professionals, and usually they know what they're talking about. So one of my clients that's a good friend of mine that I've been training for years, he deals specifically with it's a software-based business, but specifically on a recurring monthly revenue model. So he actually trained me on how to actually do all this, and we pull reports from our software that tells us, okay, this client is worth this much money, etc., over this much time, and then we're able to use that, and we use other metrics to see over time, okay, Andrew is a recurring customer in a sense. He's paying a monthly membership, so that goes in the plus column, and someone that's paying a month membership is like a null column. And then if someone's leaving, so we track that on a big whiteboard in our office month by month. So we're trying to stay slightly positive each month. We don't want a big influx of people. It's not like we want 30 new people that are recurring, because we can't really throttle that in properly. So we want to make sure that everyone gets put in properly and assimilated to our environment. So that's a big thing where we track the recurring memberships way more than we track the length of engagement, because that's not so important for us.
Yeah. How much has like your onboarding process changed since the beginning when you're bringing on someone new?
Absolutely night and day different. We used to do what's called group on-ramps. So you walk in our gym and we're like, okay, you can't do class. You're not allowed to. You need to learn how to do class first.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I had that when I first came.
No. You did the 2-week trial, because this was like years and years
But you
ago.
had to like teach me how to go to the class, basically.
That was just like an informal, like, here's how to sign up for class. This is what we used to do, was like, it was 4 sort of group personal training sessions, in a sense. You want to think of it that way?
Oh yeah, I could only go to certain classes.
Yes, so that was something that was like our second iteration of it. So we would actually get people in the door, and they'd want to join, and we would say, okay, you have to pay $200, I think that's what it was, to do what was called a on-ramp program. And this on-ramp program, we would teach you all the basic things you need to know, but if you couldn't make that on-ramp, then it was like, oh, you're kind of shit out of luck, and people wouldn't sign up. And then we realized this is just stupid. We would have very strict timelines on it, but that's what everyone in the CrossFit space did. So we're like, well, everyone's doing it, it must work, but now we know a lot better, right? So we changed it to, we would have beginner classes, and we would have like our normal CrossFit classes, and then now what we do is we just offer, if you want to do personal training from the start to get that knowledge, which a lot of people actually do it before they step into a class, and then we have the 2-week trial. So if you're just like, you know what, I want to try CrossFit, I'll see if I like it, it's completely free. They come in our doors, they do the 2-week trial, and they kind of make the decision from there. Sometimes people do that first class, and it's one of two things. It's like, where do I sign up? this is my thing. Like this is totally different than what I've ever done. This will definitely get the results. I love it. Or we never hear from them again. It is like, this is way too hard because CrossFit's hard. It is, there's no beating around the bush. It's like, this is actually way more work than some people like to put in, right? So,
and it definitely, like, injuries is not the right word, but like, I definitely had a lot of like, I was hurting in ways I never would hurt at the gym.
Soreness.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like my wrists. So like I used to do it like you're always holding the bar like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never had this at the gym doing bench press.
You're moving your body in ways that you never would do before, because that's what functional movements are, right? You can do like a Smith machine back squat, which you don't know what that is. It's just like the bar is attached to a machine. You're going up and down on a track, which is, in my eyes, completely terrible, but better than nothing. But if you go into a regular like Globo gym, like a Good Life or an LA Fitness, they have that more than they have like free weights with like free like bars where you can actually use them properly. So that's what most people I think are used to. And then all of a sudden you throw them into the mix with dumbbells and free weights. It's like, whoa, I'm using muscles that I didn't know existed, and then they get really sore. So that's a normal thing. Like people, wow, I didn't know the muscles I had here, right? So
when you're looking at like, so the onboarding process has changed, have you seen like a significant difference in like how many people are switching from the trial into a regular customer?
With the original way we did it, I would think that, or not I would think, the metrics showed that we didn't have a good conversion rate from that. And I think it was actually because people would just not want to do that original step, right? They would just be, I don't want to pay X amount of money to start something I'm not even sure if I like, right? So that's where we transitioned to that trial, and then we saw a way better retention model and a way better conversion model where people would do that 2-week trial, and after that 2-week trial, they're like, yes, I want to sign up. And then the conversion from that was like through the roof, and that was a big positive for us, because there are other CrossFits in the area, there are other gyms in the area. People do shop around, so it isn't for everyone. So if there's a saying, like, if we have 100% retention or 100% conversion, our prices are too low. Like right away, like if everyone that walks through our doors signs up, then you need to raise your prices because something is wrong, right? That's not a positive thing in any way. So we want to make sure that the people that are signing up, we're giving the best product possible. So there's going to be those people that are just kicking tires, right? They walk in, or like in your industry, they want to go to the open house and see their neighbor's house. Like they're not there to buy, but it's just like, what is this CrossFit thing, right? And they come to a couple.
Heard about it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I see you guys running around the streets. What's going on? So it's just a curiosity thing. They have no intention, or they have zero financial backing to ever sign up. Like that's not in their realm of their budget. So
like, how do you set pricing? Because I know with like Good Life LA, like they're like $30-$40 a month type of pricing. You guys are like triple that, I think,
if not more.
So it depends on I guess which package you go with, but it's significantly more. But you're basically, the end goal for people is the same, whether it's a gym or yours. So how have you kind of gone about kind of overcoming how much more expensive it is versus one of those?
So it's like we reverse engineer the price. So we know that our expenses cost X. Our product is this, which is significantly, I'm just going to say it, significantly better than the other products out there. Like if you go to an LA Fitness or a Good Life, and what you get compared to what you get at a CrossFit or our CrossFit is night and day. It's not the same product. It's like comparing a scooter and a Ferrari. It's literally like, yes, you can get from point A to point B. What would you rather choose, right? So the price, we need to know what our cost of running the business is, which we figured out, and then what we need to charge in order to actually sustain a business. Not to make millions and millions of dollars, but to make a profit, which every business needs to do, otherwise it doesn't exist, and something that people can afford. So one problem that we ran into is we actually didn't raise our prices in the past 5 years. So we had a price increase last year because we knew that all of our costs had gone up, so we need to keep in line with that. So when you compare it to a Good Life, though, they're charging $30-$40 a month, and I always say to them, what do you get with that, right? Like that model is sell thousands of memberships, hope nobody shows up. Our model is sell hundreds of memberships and hope every single person comes in, because you want to retain that client. So we reverse engineered it. Like I said, we did all the calculations based on what we need to figure out, and that's where we got our pricing. And there's a lot of CrossFits in the area that are like cheaper than us, not by like a ton, but they're cheaper. And people always ask, well, why is this one cheaper than you guys? And I have multiple reasons why, and I tell them all. And I actually am very blunt. I'm like, you know what? Try the other one. Go. Yeah. And they always kind of like do that. Like, what? Like, why are you telling me to go to your competition? And I'm like, you'll see. Yeah. And for the most part, most of them will come back, or they'll actually just call me out and like, okay, if you're so confident, then I'm just gonna sign up here. Right? I've actually had that happen. Like, if you're just telling me that you want me to go to your competitor because you know that you're better, where do I sign up? And it's happened that way. And maybe it's like this cockiness that I give off. I don't know, but
if it works,
it works exactly. So, but there are people that aren't willing to pay that for their fitness. So that's the other side of things, right? Like, just it's not in their budget. Period. Just like not everyone can afford a Ferrari, they can afford the scooter, so they're gonna buy the scooter. Yeah. So
my reason for choosing you guys is completely different.
Okay, what was it? I'd love to hear it.
It is the nerdiest marketing thing ever, but one of the emails, so like I signed up, I think at like you guys and one or two other CrossFits in like the relative area.
Okay.
And when your reply came back, it came from Infusionsoft.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, the first day, so I was like, okay, at least this, because I know how expensive Infusionsoft is. So I was like, all right, they're serious about their business because they've invested into, and you could tell it was like a thought out plan on Infusionsoft. So I was like, they're at least invested enough that he's been able to implement this system, so I'm going there.
All right, there you go.
I feel like I'm probably the only person who has sold because of that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Most people have no idea what Infusionsoft is. So
I use it in our business. Yeah. So
I remember like when I bought the package, it was from a company that they just deal with CrossFits and they do their Infusionsoft back end. And I remember I was at a conference and I met Marcus, who's the rep, and he's okay, Ryan, come to my hotel room between the break. I got my laptop. I'm going to go over the sales pitch with you, and I want to go step by step. He pulls out the back end of Infusionsoft, and if anyone in the video has ever used Infusionsoft, it's either you know what you're doing or you literally have no idea. It is so confusing.
The reason it's nicknamed Confusionsoft.
Exactly. So he starts showing me all the stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is like brand new to me. And he's like, we take care of every aspect of how this works. And then there's like that if this person responds to this and that, and I'm like, whoa, like blew my mind. And then he tells me the cost, and I was like, whoa, blew my mind because it was really fucking expensive. And I looked at like what we had in place at the time, which was really nothing. Like we had no way of tracking things correctly, and that's what really Infusionsoft's built out to do. It was kind of a no-brainer, right? Like it's like, okay, well, it builds out the website, it all connects, et cetera, et cetera. So we have the 2 gyms. So I said, I'm not going to pay double. I was like, not a chance. And he's like, okay, that's fair. We'll have one Infusionsoft backend, but we're going to have to pay double to build the website, which is the cheapest part of everything. I was like, done, let's go. And we've had it ever since. So got there, one customer, paid for itself right there.
I don't know if it does.
I don't know.
Infusionsoft's pretty expensive.
Okay, maybe not, but either way, it's true.
And now no, I don't think I've paid for Infusionsoft.
No, it's definitely very expensive.
Yeah, like I think now for my business, now we have to add the extra feature. Well, I guess you would have it too of like accepting payments through it. Or do you take run payments?
No,
so we have that. We're like $600 a month, I think now with Infusion.
1,000.
Oh, because
we're US dollars through another.
Yeah, no, ours is after conversion. We're at the 6.
We're after conversion 1,000.
Yeah,
but that's because again, it's like they take care of everything, so you're paying a lot more for that.
Yeah,
like, and no one else does this in our industry, in the CrossFit space. No one's capitalized on that type of market yet.
At least locally, I guess, because they have a whole business selling to CrossFit. Someone else is doing it.
Yeah, like they're based out of like California or something, but they're the experts in that. And it's like, here, take it.
Like where you guys are looking at like trying new things in the business, like where do now you guys look for like what should we be doing next?
So with that side of the business, Michelle doesn't really deal with that type of thing. Like I'm the one that's reading the books, listening to the podcast, and I find that that's where I get like my valuable ideas, like the nuggets that I can like, I can implement that, or I'll always bring it to her. Like we're a good partnership, like we mentioned about. I'm not going to go out and just implement something. I'm going to run it by her and vice versa. And we always like determine what is the best plan of action for the business, for the longevity. And sometimes one of us wants like something really badly, another one just says no, and we keep saying no.
Yeah.
But I'm usually the one that is trying to find those new nuggets that we can implement, and whether it's better for the client or better for the business, you got to try some stuff. And sometimes we've implemented stuff and it does not work, and just cut it off and go to the next thing, right? So, but podcast, I think, is the answer to that question. Yeah.
Where do you find, like, what brings in the most new clients for you guys?
I always like to say referrals, but I don't know if that's the case. Like,
I always tracking here's where all the clients come from.
We track, but then you get like the answer of like, my friend does it in Calgary.
Yeah.
Like, kind of that's a referral. Like, that's how they heard about us, but it's not
about CrossFit.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but then it's like, why did they choose yours?
Because we're the first on Google.
Are you?
Yeah.
No,
that is actually
first?
No, that is just because I work my ass off to get that. And it's funny because that is actually the answer I've gotten a lot of the time as to why they chose us.
Yeah.
I worked my ass off.
Probably how I saw you guys.
Yeah. Well, if you type in CrossFit Newmarket or CrossFit Aurora, we're the top. There are the other gyms that put like the paid advertising, which tricks people because it says ad and they don't realize that. But we're first on that list, and that's important for us.
So do you do paid ads too?
I did it one time, didn't like it because they flagged us because we had a before and after pic on our website, and I was too lazy to go through the steps of like trying to take our website pictures down to appease them. I was like, fuck this, I'm done.
You should definitely just put yours only up if someone searches your competitors directly. And just do that one. It's cheap.
That's fair. Yeah, it's true.
It works.
But yeah, so we are first on Google, and that's a big thing for us. And I've put a lot of time into getting like genuine reviews. That's what I find is a good one. I found out like yesterday, literally, that one of the members read all of our reviews, and that was why they chose us over the other CrossFit Newmarket. And I was like, oh, like, there you go.
So what do you do to get people to review you?
I straight up ask them.
Like one-on-one?
Multiple ways. Actually, years ago, we did like a contest where I said, here's like $200 worth of protein and this and that, and it was like a contest. It was shit. Like, people were not like, oh yeah, I really want to win this. And then I did one last year that was like, that worked amazing. It was the best one I've had yet, as like just putting it out there. I posted on we have a private Facebook group. I went on and I actually found a website. I gotta dig it up. And what it is, it creates a link that when you put it in, it auto like puts a pop-up of the exact review page for your page.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that? You know what I'm talking about?
Sounds familiar, but I don't know that specific.
Yeah. So I'll use my future mother-in-law as an example. If she can't figure it out, because she always has issues with computers, then I feel that the other members will have issues, and when they can't figure it out, they're going to go to their next thing and forget to do what we're asking them to do. But if it's simple enough for her to figure out, which if she ever watches this, it's not a bad thing. But if she can figure it out, then I feel like the rest of the members can figure it out. So I loved that because I was like, hey, click this link for Aurora, click this link for Newmarket. I actually wrote copy and paste for both because it doesn't matter, right? And when they click the link, it just takes them out of that, and it just goes, bang, there's the box, fill it out. Right? And it was like, this is genius. It's so simple. It's free. I was like, I like this. And that worked best for us. Best for us in the sense of people actually followed through. And that was what we had the issue with before. I asked them. I believe that they had good intentions and they wanted to do it, but they would get hooked like, okay, I'm on Google. Now what? Where do I do this? Right? And they don't know what to do. So.
Yeah, like, and it's interesting too, like, I found this even with us, like, if you try to like incentivize like the $200 of stuff. Yeah. They don't do as much as just asking.
Yeah, it's true.
Cheaper just to
ask.
Yeah,
like, hey, can you do this? Or sometimes I'll just post it in the group, and I'll be like, hey, if you haven't had a chance to do this, can you please help us out and just take 2 seconds to fill out this review? Be honest. And I put like, I'm very sarcastic in my posts, and that's just me. And I always put only if it's a 5-star review. Otherwise, don't do it. Like just stuff like that.
Otherwise, you're out of the gym.
Yeah. You give us a 4.5, you're done. But it was definitely that was what we saw the most, is just putting it out there and giving them that link just all of a sudden the reviews started pouring in like crazy, and that's what obviously, you know, you can teach me about that, but gets us up higher in the Google ranking, right? Like having genuine reviews is so important to our business.
And do you put like new content on the site? Like how do you look at that perspective? Because I know like content obviously helps with SEO.
Yeah.
So do you put stuff actively on the site, or?
I'm slacking huge on that.
Luckily the others probably aren't.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those major things that they're doing. Like we're pretty active on our social media pages, but content wise on our website, like we're terrible with it, honestly.
Well, like locally speaking, how many like competitors do you actually have?
That's the thing. One in Newmarket, one in Aurora. So like it's not.
Oh, well, like gyms would be your competitors too, to a degree.
I don't look at it. So over the years, I used to say yes, but now I would actually say they're not. And I'm going to use my analogy earlier of the scooter and the Ferrari, because someone looking for a scooter is not going to go look for the Ferrari, right? So someone that knows their price point is $40 a month for fitness is not going to come to us.
But that's not what mine was just like, I was just curious because I was just looking at what, and I looked at LA, Good Life, yours. I didn't look at any of the CrossFits, but then it was Orange Theory and 9 Round.
Yeah.
I just looked at them all just curious which one I liked the best.
Totally, yeah.
And then ended up going with yours, but it was completely just like I looked at everything.
So Orange Theory, 9 Round, those are more of like what we are in the sense of like small group training,
higher
gyms,
price point.
way higher price point.
Yeah.
There's F45, which is right
but
beside us. Just came out, which is significantly more expensive for way less, and that's the weird thing about it, right?
Yeah.
Like what you get is significantly less product for a higher price point, but what I've seen is because it's a higher price point, significant more discounts all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if you join now, you get this, where we just never discount anything. Like, that's our thing.
Any promotions ever?
Never and never will, and that's the beauty of it, right? We do referral, so if like someone comes in the door and like legitimately walks in day one and is like, hey, Andrew referred me, then we'll give $100 credit that they can use towards their membership when that person commits to a recurring membership, so 6 or 12 month membership. If they're doing a 1 month, it's like, thanks for the referral. But
high five.
Yeah, but if their friend actually signs up, then we'll give that to them. But discounts, I find, are like the worst thing for the CrossFit industry. I talk to Michelle about it all the time, and with discounts, it's funny. We've never like actually got new customers because of, we used to do discounts, full disclosure. We've never got new customers because we offered discounts. We've lost customers because we didn't give the certain person discounts, but we had discounts. So like an example of that would be, we had a guy join, he looked at the pricing sheet and he sees an EMS discount. So he emails me and he goes, where's my discount? And I was like, oh, are you a cop, firefighter? No, but I want a discount. He was kind of a dick. I never actually met him in person. But he had fully signed up, like gave us his check, everything was ready to go, but then he saw that and then was just one of those guys like, I want a discount and I'm not signing up.
Yeah, if you're offering them.
Yeah. So I was like, well, dude, I can't give you a discount. Like, you need to actually be in this industry. So what did I do? He said, okay, when you can give me a discount, I'll join. As of right now, if there's no discount, I'm not joining.
Yeah.
Cancel my membership, which I haven't started. I was like, okay. And I've had that instance happen multiple times over the years where people would complain that they weren't getting a discount. So we got rid of all our discounts. Like literally last year we said no, because they only cause us headaches. Like literally no one is signing up. Staying maybe because we got rid of certain ones, but that's a different story. But when it comes down to when they're walking in the door, if they look at the sheet and they see the cost, that's the cost, right? They don't have to.
So the only thing would be like the free trial at the beginning.
That's what you get. Yeah, everyone gets that. And I think I was smart enough that I took what I learned from my previous job as like a personal trainer. Because the gym I was at before ran a promo, and it was for new members only, and it was so cheap compared to what the current pricing was that it pissed off all the current clients. They were like, well, I want this deal. I've been here 5 years. Why don't I get a deal? And then the owner's like, well, you're not a new client. And then the people were like, fine, cancel my membership then, and I'll rejoin, and I'll be a new client. And then it's like, well, now he's screwed, right? He's trying to get new clients. So I've had the issue similar where we have a corporate person that wants to, like, they have like a small business and like they're like, oh, I have X amount of people, and it works out fine. Like I've done it in the past where we give them a discount similar. We used to have a family discount, so we used to give them similar to that. And that was like, they have 4 or 5 people, we'll say. But then you run into the problem. One person falls off, the next person moves away, the next person can't come anymore, and now you're left with one or two. And to have that conversation with your customer where they're like, I can't give you this discount anymore. It's like midway through their 12-month membership. You can't give them the discount because you're not getting the revenue from the other people, and they're going to be pissed. So that's where I just hate discounts personally, because it always backfires at some point. Yeah. At some point down the line, it will come back to bite you, unless you have some magical setup. Like you're having trouble, and we've tried to figure out that mystical way to not
the only thing
blow
I can think of is being like they're subsidizing the difference, but that's not really, like, it's not a lie, but it's not true. They're just not subsidizing it with cash.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, and I'm very transparent with our customers and I'm the no guy. Everyone knows I'm the no guy. like Michelle's the yes or the maybe girl. They'll ask her a question, and she's always like, I really want to help this person out, whatever. And I'm like, Michelle, like, this doesn't make sense. And she's like, I know. So if they ask me for a discount, I'm instantly like, no. Like, I'm very blunt about it, because I'm like, I can't give you a discount, because then everyone else in the gym will want a discount. I won't tell anyone. Oh, I'm sure you won't, right? Like that famous, how many times I've heard that, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But I've also had the flip side of things, where people have legitimately walked into my office, closed the door, and said, Ryan, are you giving this person a discount? Not for them, because they overhear something and think I'm doing it. Yeah. And they're like, if I find out that you're discounting someone else, I'm quitting right now. Yeah. Because they're pissed that they don't get that price, right? Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. Like, they aren't getting a discount. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And it's usually a broken telephone, something happens, and I'm like, not happening. And everyone knows that about me, that there's nobody that gets a discount, period. It's just, and I always joke, like, yes, my future mother-in-law, she gets a discount, so yes, someone gets a discount. But I'm like, if someone's going to bitch about that, then they can fuck off.
Yeah. I think maybe you should charge her more.
Yeah, really. But that's the thing, where like someone complains about it, I'm like, no, I'm not giving Susie on the floor a cheaper rate because she asked for it. And that's the problem with a lot of small businesses. Like,
they make those deals
all the time. Like, I've heard of it in the CrossFit space so many times where, like, it's ridiculous, where I have a friend that bought another CrossFit. He came in, went through the books, and saw all these like very cheap membership rates, and he started asking, like, why do you get these cheap rates, or zero? No. Oh, I bring the markers in every week. Yeah. Like, literally, this was what he was hearing from like the members at the gym. Yeah. And he's like, what? Well, yeah, like the old owner, like, I would just go to the store and buy the whiteboard markers, and I would get a free membership. And he's like, well, that's stopping right now. Yeah. Like, not happening, right? Yeah. Or it was like, oh, I clean the gym once a week. And he's like, this gym's a fucking pigsty. Like, it's never been cleaned, right? Like, stuff like that, right? So that's why I don't even make deals with people like that. Yeah. It's just like, no, because it doesn't make sense as a business. It's just silly. So I need like a list of your questions.
Overrated. We don't have questions.
There you go.
We just make it up as we go.
That's true.
Yeah. So how do you feel then? Like, so like, you don't discount at all.
Yeah.
When you see like competitors in the area, or even just not in the area, running, just like, does it bug you that they run them? Or like, how do you react when you see other people like basically undercutting you like crazy?
Maybe I'm a dick again. I said that twice, I think now. I wait for them to close their doors, because that's telling me that they're in trouble. Yeah. They're discounting for a reason. They are not discounting because they're successful. Yeah. It's quite opposite. Like, so I have this thing. I go to the mall, I walk around, and I get angry. Yeah. Why do I get angry? Because every store is everything 50% off. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way things are now. Like 20 years ago, maybe now I feel old, but you go to the mall, it's like, oh, 10% off. That's a big deal. Now, if you go to the store and you're not getting 50% off, like me personally, I just won't buy it. Yeah. Like, there's literally certain stores that I walk by, like Banana Republic or like Gap or whatever, and straight up, I will not purchase things unless it's on sale, which they've conditioned us to think that. Right? And I have another client who's very wealthy, and he always points out to me, like, if you have a sale on whatever product and you only have that sale at a certain time of year, people will wait till that time of year to purchase that thing. They know. What's the problem with Black Friday? What's the problem with Boxing Day? Yeah. Right? I buy shit on those days. Everyone else does, but then they don't buy anything on the other days because they know. Right? Like, why would I buy this the day before Boxing Day, unless it's it's a present for someone, but whatever. But yeah, so I think of like a CrossFit that's discounted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they're going to close their doors soon and we'll get all the numbers. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm afraid.
You can get their equipment for cheap too.
That's exactly what it is, right? It's just funny to me because I know what it costs to run a gym. Like, I know those metrics inside and out. And when I see what other CrossFits charge, and I see roughly, like, I know, okay, their space is this big, their rent must be this, whatever. Those metrics are very easy to figure out. Like, there's no rocket science behind that. And I know what their nut must be. Okay, you must have X amount of revenue coming in.
Yeah.
Your average membership is X. Well, you need a lot of members. I don't think you have that many members.
Yeah.
What other revenue streams do you have? Okay, none. Okay, great. How are you staying open, right? Like, that's what I see. And I'm doing these numbers in my head really quick, and I'm like, doesn't add up, period. Yeah. Unless it's like a business, unless you're running like Ozark where you're just trying to funnel money through it, it's just not a business, right? So I think I look at things from a different perspective than maybe like Ryan 5 years ago, where I didn't really know that kind of stuff about business, but now that I see it from a different eye, I'm like, okay, there's really no need to discount your services because then people will wait for those discounts, right?
Yeah. So how many, like, because like obviously the main revenue is monthly memberships.
It counts for like 55%.
So which point did that, like, because I'm assuming early on it was probably closer to 100.
No. So this is, I think, one of our saving graces from the beginning. Yeah. Michelle and I had our personal training clients.
Yeah.
So we were actually pulling technically a profit from day one. Yeah. Where most CrossFits, they open the doors and like, okay, no one's here, like, and that's how it works. So we were lucky enough that maybe lucky is a bad word. We were in the right spot where we had a lot of clients that loved training with us, that wanted to follow us anywhere, that when we opened our doors, they were like, we're coming with you, we're training with you no matter where you are. So we opened the doors and we were training like 5-6 hours a day each with just personal training. So in a sense, that could have floated us for years to come, technically, for what our rent cost there, right? It could have been like Michelle and Ryan's personal training studio. Yeah. Would that last forever? Maybe, maybe not. That wasn't our goal though.
Hustling nonstop with no leverage.
Exactly. So that was from day one. It was actually not 100%. It was maybe, I think it's almost probably been that, like, I would say 50, maybe 45 to like 65% range, and kind of fluctuates from that. And we've diversified in the sense that we have a lot of different revenue streams. Where a lot of CrossFits, it's classes, that's it. Yeah. Like, maybe they sell a couple shirts here and there, which you don't make a lot of money on shirts, right? Like,
you've tried. we still sell them.
We make money on shirts. We do pre-orders now. That's the flip side of things now. We have a couple on the racks that if you're a drop-in, you buy a shirt, but we used to just buy them and then sell them, and then they're like, this is stupid. Now I do the opposite. It's like, hey, 2-week pre-order, buy your shirt, and then when it comes in, done, out the door, and it's instant profit. Yeah. Right. So we learn as we go. Right. So that's another thing there. But yeah, membership wise is not our nut. Like, that's what is a big component for sure.
The base.
Yeah, and then everything else, like the personal training, the physiotherapy, the nutrition, the kids programs. We have an in-body machine, like, you name it. We have a lot of different streams. The retail alone actually accounts for a decent amount because we have so many products now that we sell. But yeah, it's just finding ways to diversify. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. So
that's good. Yeah. Do you get a lot of like other CrossFit owners, not like in the area or even in the area, come to you guys for advice?
All the time. Yeah. I met with a guy yesterday.
So how do you like go about, like, is it more like, are they coming to be like, can I pick your brain, or are they like, can I buy your like consulting time type of thing?
Actually I had 2 yesterday, now that I think of it. I had a Facebook message too. I just do it as like a friendly thing. Like, I like to create relationships and connections and stuff. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, one day I'm gonna ask this person for a favor, but if they're asking me for help, then I'll be more than glad to help. If they're a dick to me at one point, then I'm gonna be like, go fuck yourself. You get karma's a bitch, right? Like, that's just how I am. Like, if you're nice to me, then I'll be nice back. So these people that reach out, sometimes they're in a tough time, and I'm more than glad, and Michelle and I are more than glad to help out. Sometimes it's a little more than we bargained for, but they're actual friends of ours, and then we've been friends with for years, and we're gonna do what we can to help them. So we've been helping a friend of ours right now that is in a little bit of a tough time, and we're meeting with him almost on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And it's completely just free. Like, we're not asking for anything in any capacity. He actually wants us to buy into the business and kind of buy it from him, but we're not really wanting to do that. We want to just help him kind of get to the point where he's comfortable. And I think people look at us and what we've created and they're like, whoa, like, this is legit. Like, this is actually like one of the nicest facilities they've ever been in. And that's what we hear all the time. Like, people come and visit the actual facility and they're like, whoa, like, you guys got your shit together. Like, it starts with the infusion soft and just goes from there. Right? Like, every aspect of the business is very different from a lot of CrossFits that I visited. And when I travel, like Loren, I'm lucky, my fiance, loves to do CrossFit now. Like, a couple of years ago, her priorities were in school and getting done physio. Now it's like, okay, every day she is at the 4:30 class, like, and Saturdays she's there sometimes 7 days a week. And I'm like, hey, when's your next rest day? But it's one of those things where we travel and we literally, our itinerary will have CrossFit. So I just like to go in. I never tell them that I'm an owner, and that's the funny thing. I had one guy, we were in Germany, and this guy was like fucking G.I. Joe. Like, he came out and he had like veins popping off his calves, and I'm like, this guy's like he's like, I don't know, I think he was like an old army guy, and he was like the nicest dude ever. He's like, nice to meet you, like one of this, and I was like, this guy, I don't usually see people, and I'm like, wow, this guy's jacked. And I was like, holy fuck, like, you wash your clothes on this guy's abs, right? And he's like, Ryan, right? And he like knew my name, and he came over. He's like, you do CrossFit, don't you? And I was like, he sounds like that. Yeah, like, yes, I look the part, but he's like, you coach? And I'm like, maybe. But he looked at my email, and that's how he had like put two and two together, right? Yeah. And he's like, okay. And he's like, do you just coach? And like, he was probing me. Like, I was like, this guy like did the due diligence to like find out who I was. No. I was stopping in for 1 hour, and that's it. And like, this was one of the nicest gyms that I've ever been to, the best experience, but it's very well known. I go to another well-known gym, and it's only well-known because the girl that finished like second in the CrossFit Games trains there. Not in Iceland. No. We've been to that one. That one was crazy. That was a whole other story. But this one was in Budapest. Yeah. The worst service I've ever had in a CrossFit, and it was so funny because we went to the class. They didn't have enough equipment. It's a fucking beautiful space, beautiful everything, tons of room, but not enough equipment for what they programmed. The girl that coached the class, I couldn't hear her. She was not a good coach. Like, I won't name, it doesn't matter, but not a good coach. And one of my friends asked me, was she hot? And I was like, actually, she was one of the hottest women I've ever seen in my entire life. And she literally was wearing nothing. As coach, like, she had like little booty shorts, and she's wearing her sports bra to coach. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. He's like, that's why she's the coach. But she was a terrible coach. It was just funny to me because I'm like, yeah, I never thought of it like that, right? Like, oh, maybe the people don't care. Yeah. But I like to just explore different CrossFits and see what's out there because every single one has a different way of doing things because there's no set rules from CrossFit saying you have to do it this way. I always joke, you can run a ballet studio if you want, but you're not going to be very successful. You can literally do whatever you want. Where if you open like Tim Hortons franchise, you got to do it this, right? So that's where some are very successful and some aren't. And like what we've built and like the amount of members we have and revenue and size and everything, like people come into ours and like, holy shit, like they actually are like, how did you do this? And like, that's humbling for me. It's not like a brag. It's just like, okay, it means we're doing something right. So I'm cool with that when they come in. They're like, oh, this place is cool, right?
So do you, when you go to like the ones overseas, especially like, have you ever taken something they've done to implement here?
All the time. Yeah. Like it could be like the simplest little thing. Like I've stolen emails. Like I get an email from them about whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I got like I had a response yesterday actually from our welcome email that I completely ripped off some other gym. I don't know where they were. I think it was from Iceland actually. I think you said that. It was just like an auto email to introduce myself as the owner, and like the first line is like, just to get this out of the way. This is an automatic email, but I am a real person. And like the person's like, I really like that email. And like they responded to it and like answered all my questions in the email. And it's just a way for me to introduce myself. And like, I want to know the members and who they are by name, not just you're a number to us, right? So when we go to other gyms, I see certain things. I see what doesn't work and what does work. And I'm like, okay, I come back, Michelle. I'm like, hey, I went to this one. She does the same thing. Like she went to Thailand and she was like, I went to this gym, they did this. I went to this gym and they did this. And she was like, we got to implement this. I'm like, go ahead.
And you just wrote off the whole trip.
Well, no, we actually don't do that, which you need to do more of. But it's just like you can learn so much just by observing. Like we go to, I don't know how many CrossFits I've been to, or herself, she's been to tons as well, and like you definitely do see a lot of different things. Like we always hear the members travel and they go to other CrossFits and they come back and they're like, holy crap, like I really can appreciate what we have here. Like I don't know how often you check the members group, but we had a girl, you know, never.
I got a lot going on.
I was gonna say social media is like a little too clustered for you, congested for you. We had a girl that actually commented the other day. So she went away to Florida and she was like saying, she's like, wow, I really appreciate the warm-ups that you guys do, because she stopped at another CrossFit and they said, okay guys, go warm up, when you're ready come back to me and we'll get started. Which, as you know, like our gym has very structured warm-ups and like they're all pre-planned by one of our coaches who is like a movement savant. He's just like very in tune with everything. So the members will leave and go to another gym and try it out, and they're like, holy crap, like this is very well done here. And like obviously that's awesome for us to hear, but it's like kind of like shitty, because I'm like, why do these other gyms suck so bad? That's what I think, right? I'm like, that's too bad.
You guys are like systemized. Like I remember back when I did the group classes before, it was just like you and I and Michelle. Like I think I went a stretch where like Michelle was like the only person I used for a while, because she just happened to always, and I went to different times. It was always like she just happened to be the one always in it.
Fluke.
And she noticed, I think it was like my shoulders or back was like tighter than everybody else's.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's actually like, all right, Andrew, you have to come 15 minutes early every time now.
Yep.
And that like pulley system on the wall.
Like crossover symmetry.
Yeah, like she's like, you have to run through this. And she stayed late to show me how to do it once. She was like, every time you have a class now, you have to come early to do that.
Sounds
first.
like her.
It was good. It worked.
It's like what you get with paying that extra money, though, right? Like you're not just like, okay, good work, okay, bye guys. Like it's a very different system, and like we are on the coaches that they can't be like on their phones or doing like whatever. Like it's like, hey, people are paying their hard-earned money and a lot of it to come here to get in better shape. And like our clientele is not like 20-year-olds. It's like 30 and up, like affluent, like because we charge so much. Like we can't just.
Well, that's kind of the reason I was also like I wanted to go to one that was more expensive. Like it's gonna force me to go because I'm paying so much.
It's true. Like, that's why some people like it too. Like it's like, oh, I paid for it. I need to just show up. Like I can't just waste the money. Yeah, exactly. Right? So that sometimes is our selling feature. They're like, oh, you're more expensive. I want to come here. And I'm like, cool.
Forces me to go. Like I'm not gonna. Like it's one thing if like I lose $30 a month at LA, which actually I think I am losing $30.
But see, like so many people do that. I'm like, holy shit.
I need to cancel that already.
Yeah. So many people tell me they're like, oh, I don't know if I can afford like your monthly. Like maybe I'll do like 2 times a week or 3 times a week instead of unlimited. And they're like, well, I still have my Good Life membership. I'm like, how often do you use that? Oh, I haven't been there in like a year. Like, so you're telling me that you can't afford the $30 difference, but you're spending $35 at Good Life to never use it. I'm like, do you see the problem here? Yeah, do you see that? Well, I might go back. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, it's just so funny to me. Like, they just don't clue into that simple little aspect of, you're complaining about money. I've just solved your problem, and you don't understand what I'm saying to you. But
logic is really not a thing that we deal with.
Human nature. It's just how it goes. Right?
It's interesting though.
Yeah.
I always like learning about those things that people do that way. But I'm pretty sure I'm paying for LA because I plan to start like doing that a little bit.
You're one of the thousands of people that do that.
Well, that's what's always fun interesting too. Is like literally, and someone was telling me who was in that industry of like if even half the people who had a membership went, they'd all go bankrupt.
Oh,
because they can't handle the volume.
Yeah, I think the metric is like 17%. I think it's in like college. 17% of the members will actually go, like on a weekly basis, we'll say. And there is, I forget the actual number, but there's like a specific metric where there's X amount of percent that sign up and never go. That's like, but that's the thing, like literally 0 times. And I remember that happened when I was at Fit City. People would come in for those promos. They would buy a year membership. They would walk in on the Monday. They would sign up. They would give their information to pay, and they would never step foot back in that building. And it was like, what the fuck? We've had that at CrossFit, which is crazy to be honest, but like it's few and far between.
But like I remember I signed up because like when I signed with you guys, like it's class based only then. Like it was before like you and I did our thing.
Well, we had the personal training. We just don't we don't promote it from day one. We do it a little bit more now.
But I was like, okay, the class times don't always work for me. Mm-hmm. So $30 a month, I'll just have something I can go to on like those times where I can't make any of the classes.
Exactly.
I went one time.
Oh, there you go.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still paying.
But you are the majority of people at those gyms. That's the thing. Most people will actually do exactly that.
Well, it's a pain because now they make me go in person to actually cancel. Mm-hmm. I can sign up online.
I've seen actually CrossFit. There's one in like Niagara Falls area. So they have a sign behind the desk and it's a massive sign. Mm-hmm. And the only way to cancel your membership, and it's very clear from day one, is you have to come in and physically cancel it and sign a sheet. Yeah. And it says you cannot email, you cannot phone, we will not accept your cancellation that way. So like people won't walk in, they're like ashamed or whatever.
It's just a time thing for me.
But that too, no shame but that's part of it. But like think about how people like it's time, it's this, that, like, every excuse. I'll do it next month. Yeah. And the sign is like when I say it's big and I said it like 3 times, it's like huge. Like you can't miss it when you sign up.
That would make me want to cancel more, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, like the bigger the sign, because then it's just like in your face about enough people are trying to cancel.
No, it's like enough people aren't trying to cancel. I think it's the opposite, I think. No?
So, no, I see it that way. It's like if you have to have a big ass sign about how to cancel, that means so many people are trying to cancel that you're trying to find a way to stop it and make it inconvenient for them. So like my membership, like my revenue model, like I even actually stopped it now. So like you don't even have to email me. There's just a button in the membership area that says
we have membership. Yeah, we have membership cancellation
in there now. Now part of that. So I was at this event and this is fucking brilliant. This guy did this. So when you sign up for his membership group, there's a form that says, why is success in this important to you? Okay. And it fills it out, goes into his Infusionsoft. When you hit the cancellation button because you've signed in, it auto-fills it with the pre-line saying, is this still not important to you? And then shows your message about why it's important.
Yeah, I like guys like that. I would totally steal. Because it would work in my industry just as much.
Oh, no, you should definitely. I wanted to lose for him, it was for photographers. Huh. So he runs a 10,000 member online photography group.
Interesting.
And literally that's what it does. So like part of the onboarding process, question like 2, is why is your success as a photographer important to you? And if you hit cancel, is this no longer important to you? Then it's like, here's what you're going to miss if you cancel, and it shows all the upcoming events. Yeah. Then it goes, instead of canceling, here's some other options. And one of them's like pause membership for 30 days. Yeah. One is like downgrade to this lower one. And you're like, brilliant. He's like, yeah, I'd probably save like 15 grand a month.
Oh,
just from having that page out.
Yeah. I'm like, because we've had people that fill out our cancellation form. Yeah. And then it goes directly to our office manager. She deals with it, but then there's the times where like she'll escalate it to me. If it's like, hey Ryan, I think you should reach out to so and so, and I'm like, okay, I'll do my little massage and try to keep them around, right? And there's sometimes where it's the simplest reason why they're canceling. They're like, oh, I'm going away on vacation for like a couple of weeks. I don't want to pay, and I'm like, well, we have a hold policy. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. And like we try to give them that information.
Put that on the cancellation page right there.
Well, we have so many ways. When you go to it, it says on the website, it says membership hold request, membership cancellation request.
You gotta do it all once. So like cancel membership, then it's there. So like when they click to go cancel, you shove the hold in their face first.
Yeah, true.
Then they have to go buy the hold to see it.
That's true. Yeah, quick little change.
So you got to make some conversion changes to
there you go. Exactly. But yeah, so I have to like do that, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know I could hold a membership." And like we've sent them the information on all of our hold.
This is the interesting that he's told us too, because he's been doing this now for years and makes a ton of money off his membership. Is like he's like about 80% of your membership has no idea the things that you offer.
That's true.
He's like they'll know like your core probably. He's like, but about 80% have no idea what the different offers. Yeah. Hold on, so I should probably see if she can come home. Hey. No. You're just pulling in? Okay. I'll come help you out and then we'll get back to filming. Have you tested the length of your trial?
And what do you mean?
So like it's a 2-week free trial. Have you tested changing that length?
No.
So this was the interesting one.
Yes.
That
1 day and 2 weeks. So.
So this is the interesting one about the guy that I learned membership stuff from. Is he's like, we used to do a 30-day free trial. Mm-hmm. and then we switched to 10 days.
Yeah.
He's like, the only difference on the 30 day versus the 10 day is that it took us longer to get money on 30 days, but we had the exact same uptake and the exact same conversion rate on a 10 versus 30 day. But on a 10 day, we got the money sooner.
Yeah.
So we switched to a 10 day.
Interesting.
Because then we could take that money and put it into other stuff.
Yeah, of course. Well, you think like over the course of a year,
Yeah.
like I know you said, I'm like, why don't we have a 10 day? Because
or even a 7 day, or right, like,
Yeah.
And I don't know what the right number is. I'm just saying, like,
but
that's if it gets you money sooner,
then it's more money in your pocket.
Yeah,
Period.
and then if it converts the same,
Yeah.
you might as well take the one that converts sooner.
Yeah, if I have 400 people, we'll say, times an extra 4 days of membership, that's a couple grand at the end of the year.
Yeah, like try a 7 day, try a 10 day.
Yeah. And you can change it any point you want because no one's free. I wanted a 2-week trial. Well, we don't do that. We have a 10-day trial, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those. That was what was interesting. Is this guy had, because he has 10,000 people paying $47 a month, and he's got 4 part-time employees. Like it's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
But the amount of stuff he's tested and tried, so like the way he sells it, it's interesting. So he sells a $1.97 pose. So it's for photographers. So it's a posing guide. So it's $1.97, and it's a 50-page guide of 50 different poses for families. So if you're gonna like photograph families, here's a different 50 different poses you can put the families in. $1.97. But then there's so there's like a checkbox. If you click the checkbox, it gives you a 10-day free trial to this group.
Okay.
That after 10 days automatically starts charging you $49 a month. And it's like that's where most of our money comes from, is just people clicking check.
And then they get charged.
Yeah, and he has a 70% rollover rate from trial to member.
Wow.
And I'm just like, and he's like, literally, we did 30 day, we did 10 day. The only difference is I got the money sooner at 10 days.
Yeah.
So like,
I think 30 days is way too long.
Yeah.
Personally, for anything. I don't know. I don't care what it is. Like I know, one of our old coaches. I think he's at a jiu-jitsu place now, and they have a 30-day trial. And I was like, whoa!
it's too much.
Like if you've done it for 24 days and you don't know what your decision is, that's too long.
Yeah.
Like you're probably gonna talk yourself out of it at that point.
Yeah.
Like if anything, I just think it's a little ridiculous. But now you're making me want to change it to 10 days. I feel like 7 days isn't enough, but I feel like that's what we want.
I'd say if you're at 14, try 10.
Yeah.
And then once you've kind of had that for a bit, and you have data on how the 10 compares to the 14, just try a 7.
Yeah.
And see, because you never know.
It's true. It's
literally
2 weeks is a decent amount of time.
If you tried a 3-day trial, is that any different? That type of idea of, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's worth trying.
It's so funny because I listen to so many podcasts and books and whatever, and there's no rule book on this. Literally every gym does it their own way, and they justify it their own way, right? So, I run this type of model versus this type of model, and it's like, whatever works for you, right? You might be in a demographic that is all baby boomers, or it's all young people, or whatever, right? So, I guess that totally relates to the real estate industry, right?
Another interesting one that he did that might work for you is his average client for a while was 3 months.
Okay.
And then they'd quit.
Yeah.
So he's like, what I switched to, because everyone's just like, all right, you pay $47, $49 a month, month 2, $49 a month, month 3, $49 a month, and you see that recurring bill. So he's like, the day you sign up, you pay for 3 months in advance, so that they don't see the bill then for 3 months, and then it starts. He's like, they're paying the same amount, they're just paying for 3 months up front and then going month to month. And he's like, we increased 10% the amount of people who stayed, because
they won't cancel until the 5th month.
Because they've seen the value without having that another bill, another bill.
Yeah.
But now you just built value for 3 months straight without that, another bill, and then it starts. So it's another one of maybe there's something there that you could do.
Yeah. There's so many things that I've signed up for with good intentions where it's that monthly, it's super cheap. It's $10.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, I didn't use this at all. Cancel. I'm sure it's amazing value, and I'm sure if I actually utilized it and used what it was made for, then I would keep it. But I'm just like, So
do you have people who sign up for a pay for a year front, or is it I sign up for a year but I'm paying month to month?
I would say 99% are pay monthly, and that's what I prefer. I'm sure everyone's seen it. You especially, it's not you especially, you. It's pay for literally the whole year and you get a discount at other gyms. And I'm always like, why the fuck? Why would you want that?
All the money. That's like, that works if you need cash flow. So like when I started the company, I had a mortgage to pay. So I gave a 10% discount for the first 2 people to pay it 6 months up front. So like the first week of my business, I collected 10 grand.
But then you're not collecting money at all.
Yeah, but at the time I just needed the money.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Now I'm in a different position where I can be like we don't really offer that anymore. But yeah, like we just price is the price.
So fun fact: there's actually places like states and I don't know if it's provinces that is actually illegal in a gym industry to charge for a full year up front. And the reason is, if you haven't thought of it already, how many gyms that close? So they run promos where it's like discount pay in full, and then legitimately the next week they close the door.
Yeah,
like it's like collect like 100 people at some crazy discount. They all pay up front, and then the gym closes
and walks away.
So
basically, they had to pay their debts, and then
and then these people are fucked, right? And that's why, like, so in Ontario, you can't have more than a 1-year membership.
Makes sense.
Like literally not allowed, right? Yeah. So years ago we had a 2-year membership. And then someone pointed out to us, you guys can't do this. And I was like, what do you mean? And I go to the Ontario website, I'm like, wow, this person actually is right. Like, I was similar
when I started. There was a couple little things that happened that I had no idea. Like, I didn't actually know you needed a business license to do anything. I was just like, I'm going to start a business.
There you go.
Started a business.
Yeah.
And then I applied for a grant. So it was like the York region was just giving $5,000 to anyone under 30. And you just have to apply and have a business plan, but they give you someone to write the business plan for you. And he's like, okay, so like, what have you done? Yeah, at this point I was making like $15,000 a month. Like it was just me. And I'm like, so I showed him, he's like, where's your business license, by the way? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Where's your business license? I'm like,
I don't know, you're smoking.
And he's like, you need a business license.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I'll go get a business license, and I went and got
it's actually very easy to do. But
it's super simple. I just literally, because there's not like this thing that says like you need. I just thought like, oh, I want money. I will just go ask people for money.
It's so funny like when you start a business, how like little, like I said, like how little we knew, and we've been blessed with this sense of like we train people that are very good at what they do, and we have all these different industries, and they're like, oh, you need to do this, and like I used to train my lawyer. Like, how lucky was I that like my lawyer was a personal training client of mine for years and helped us out with so many things. And it was one of those things like I would have a question and like I knew that it was one of those like, okay, he's probably supposed to charge me like an arm and a leg, like a couple $100 an hour, but he likes me and he's just like, whatever, I'm like, here it is. And like we would do business through him. Like we had to with the business, but it was just you learn these things sometimes the hard way and sometimes the easy way. Where like it's like, where's your business license? Okay, I'll go get it. Okay, here it is, done. Where it could have turned out really bad the other way.
Someone would come to me in an official capacity. I've been like, plead ignorance.
Well, sometimes the CRA don't care about that.
No, they really don't.
Well, funny for us, like so a lot of the gyms in the States, what I've heard is they'll open without checking the zoning. So zoning's huge. Like you couldn't open a storefront here, like it's in your house, right? Like so, zoning for us has actually been a major, not hiccup, but a major hurdle for us with all 3 of our locations. Like so, the first Newmarket, the second Newmarket.
I only remember 2 gyms. What's going on?
So the first one, I actually called the town and we wanted to do massage. We had a loft upstairs, so I called and I'm like, hey, I own a business on Journeys on Circle. Like, I'm just checking to make sure that we can do this. I was actually being proactive, and the girl was like, where are you? She said it like that, and I was like, Journeys on Circle. You can't be there. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you're not zoned to be there. Like, you can't put a gym in that building. I'm like, but we've been open for like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
I don't care. So I was like, well, like, I'm really sorry. Like, I don't know what to say. And then she ended up, like, I talked to her for a little longer, and she was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm not going to tell anyone, like, just don't cause any trouble, pretty much. And I was like, oh my God, like, right?
Got lucky.
And then when we were looking at the space in Newmarket, the second one, the big where we currently are, it wasn't zoned yet again, which is very few spots in York region are zoned for what we do because of parking. It all comes back to parking.
Oh, okay.
So you need X amount of spots because gyms, you need a lot of people
X
to
amount
make
of
money,
people,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, right? So our real estate agent was looking around, we stumbled across this spot, and again, we trained someone that knew exactly what this was. So this girl, Andrea, who's been amazing to us and still a member, she did this as her job for a massive company. So she would go in, get the zoning changed. It was like a excavation company, I don't know, but she knew exactly what had to happen. And I always joke with her, I'm like, if I needed to hire you, I don't even know what I would have looked for in like the yellow pages to actually go and hire you, because your job is so specific. Now she's like the head of like the building department in like Barrie. Like she's like, she knows her shit, right? So she went in, like got the zoning amended, not changed, because that's a whole other thing. It cost us like almost $30,000 just to change the zoning in Newmarket. When we got Aurora, same thing. We go in, this is where we want to set up the business. This building's awesome, everything looks good. Not zoned. Andrea, help us out. You go to the town meeting, you have to go through this whole process. She got it taken care of. And it's like, holy crap, like this is a nightmare, but like the things you don't know about a business is you don't know, right? So
like, and I remember when I first started, we didn't have insurance. But because I was like,
why would you need insurance? That's actually,
so that's what I thought. But and then when I went to apply for it, being like, it's probably not a bad idea. It was way more expensive.
What are you insuring?
That's it. Reputation and brand. Because say hypothetically you hire me to run your ads. And say I put out something for yours that was wildly offensive. But it wasn't you. That was me. I've now permanently damaged your reputation. What is that reputation damage worth?
I didn't know you can insure a reputation.
That you can, and it's very subjective. What that is worth. So like, I don't know if you remember, like in the news, like when they're talking about like Trump applying for a loan, he needed a value of like $6 billion, but he was only worth $2 billion. So he said the Trump name was worth $4 billion. But how do you dispute what the value of the name Trump is worth? Right? Like it's like, okay, like the Coca-Cola name, the Nike name. It has value with zero product around it. Like if Nike went bankrupt tomorrow and they tried just to sell the Nike name, someone's buying that for a big number.
Of course,
But what is that value? So if I'm working with a real estate agent and I ruin their reputation, so because it's so subjective, what is that value? So insurance, it's hard to insure for that. So like, if I ruined your name,
you definitely got to cover your ass, right? Like,
so it's actually surprisingly expensive to get covered for social media marketing.
It's such a random thing.
Like it's thousands. So
learn something new every day, right? So,
I had no idea. So not to say you can sue me. But Andrew
ruined my reputation.
Killed it. But it's a little, there's like, and I had no idea. Someone's like, oh, like who's your insurer? And I was like,
what are you talking about?
Nobody? How do they have insurance? I don't drive people around. There's no health and safety risk. Like maybe carpal tunnel for someone.
And then there's me. Everyone's like, oh, you must have crazy insurance. And luckily ours isn't that expensive.
Like, mine might be more expensive.
Probably. Ours is really cheap compared, like for what we get. Like I don't think it would be insane, but we don't really have like a lot of injuries or stuff that happen, so it's not people aren't like coming into our doors and like doing stupid things, so we're lucky.
And ours is pretty expensive, but it's just because of that subjective nature of what's your name worth. Interesting. Well, look, I could theoretically run ads for you, ruin your reputation locally, and you could not open another gym.
Easily,
right? Like
put one bad thing out and it's like,
I mean, you still got all your members, but they could leave. And how much? And then it's also like, how much of that am I on the hook for? Am I on the hook for your entire brand value being gone? Or was it 20% me, 80% you, 50-50, 80% me, 20% you, 100%
how many
me?
years down the line and how much revenue have you cost us?
Exactly. So it's a pretty ugly potential there.
There you go.
So so that's how we do it. Cool. So not a lot of people are local who watch it, but some. And I will actually promote it locally, so people will watch it, but if they want to learn more about you, the company, how do they get a hold of you? What do they do?
CrossFit NewmarketCentral.com or CrossFit AuroraCentral.com. The only difference is the color. So one gym, 2 locations is really how we look at it. Like you literally get the exact same experience at both, same coaches, same everything. And the easiest way to get a hold of us, just go through the website and it'll kind of guide your way, and then we'll set you up with a 2-week, maybe soon to be 10-day, maybe 3-day trial. Yeah. But that's how
12 hours.
Yeah. You get 1 class and that's it.
But by the end of that class,
sign up or leave, right? Like so that's easiest way, just to the website, and that's how most people contact us, and through Infusionsoft, and then off they go.
And that's why you should sign up, because they use Infusionsoft.
Yeah, we got our shit dialed in.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
All right,
Cheers.
thank you for having me.
That was fun.